Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Chair of the Council, distinguished guests and graduates. I am absolutely delighted to be speaking to you today on behalf of the University and the Faculty of Management, Law and Social Sciences, to which I belong, to present Nozizwe Madlala-Routledge as one of our newest honorary graduates. I would like to request your permission, Chancellor, to do something different as part of this oration. After all, our university not merely embraces difference, but celebrates the difference we make to our students, our communities, and our city. Is that okay? You yourself said in your speech, don't worry about messing up or failing, so I will try my best. It is that time of the year when we have in this country the tradition when audience participate in important events and shows. So I will be asking a few questions. You are supposed to answer yes, and let's answer in one voice and as loud as possible. I hope the answer is going to be yes. First question, do we know someone who is a role model? Yes. Do you know someone who represents imagination, freedom, and pursuit of excellence? Yes. I think there are only few people here. Who does not follow the trend but creates one? Yes. Who challenges especially institutions which are perhaps biased and structures which are not fair in order to champion equality and create that fairness and justice that our Chancellor spoke about just now? Yes. Thank you. That part of the event is over, so I can continue. I hope I haven't failed miserably. At Bradford, we are fortunate to have many such exemplars, including those sitting on this stage. So it should be easy to present another person who fits right into our Bradford model of amazing women in leadership. Now, more seriously, let us take ourselves back to those challenging days of the 1970s and 1980s, when there was darkness cast all over South Africa, when people were put into categories based on the color of their skin. And while some people enjoyed various kind of successes and privileges, others had to stay behind simply because of who they are rather than what they can actually do. So it is in that context that we remember Nelson Mandela, the inspirational figure, rising up and giving the call for peaceful resistance in order to work against that. Nozizwe was inspired during those times, seeing Mandela, and she herself became an activist in the African National Congress. And she campaigned for the release of Mandela. In fact, I'm told her son has a middle name, Mandela, because of that. He was born during that time. And she has ever since stood for the human rights, dignity, and especially the rights of the girls and women in Southern Africa. As a politician, she was different. Probably she is the first Quaker in the world to be a defense minister. So normally Quakers are pacifists, so they don't like defense, etc. A position that she held for 5 years, from 1999 to 2004. After this, she became a minister in the Department of Health, and those of us who have been long enough to work in this field know that 2004, 2005, those are the dark years of HIV AIDS pandemic in Southern Africa. So during that time, importance of Ministry of Health, we can imagine. She argued with her own boss for a different approach. She stood for her ground and the principles, and when the systems were not allowing that, she resigned from that ministerial position. Another person might have slowly disappeared from public life. Oh, but not our Nozizwe. Not one to be bullied or marginalized, she became the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly instead. After holding these various offices in the public life, another person might have chosen a quiet life. Again, not our Nozizwe. Right from South Africa, she chose directly to influence the United Nations. So by joining as the director of the Quaker United Nations office in Geneva to promote human rights, democracy, and solidarity through international cooperation. And through this work, she came close to our department, Department of Peace Studies and International Development, and we have ever since known much more about her and also the work of the CUNO. Within CUNO, obviously, there has been, along with peace and justice, she has also been campaigning about sustainable and just economic systems, a program that has now broadened up to include various aspects of retrospective justice, not just restorative justice. These are difficult tongue-twisting words, but also with regard to slavery. By now, I hope I have given you enough in terms of examples of how Nozizwe reflects very much the ethos of our university, of individual excellence, of commitment to peace and justice, and above all, to using national and international humanitarian law and institutions to promote policies for such justice. For her sheer and relentless energy in being different and taking different approaches, and to see things in a different light, I believe she deserves this honorary award. Chancellor, in recognition of her being an internationally renowned campaigner and her outstanding contribution to positive peace and social justice, I have the great pleasure in presenting to you for the honorary degree of the Doctor of the University, Nozizwe Madlala-Routledge.
What an honour for me. By the authority vested in me, I admit you to the honorary degree of a Doctor of the University. Congratulations. What an honour for me. Yes, well done. Thank you.
I think this is one of my proudest moments. Chancellor, Lord Mayor, fellow graduates, guests, friends, I'm deeply grateful to the University of Bradford for offering me this honorary doctorate. Let me start, of course, by congratulating all the graduating students for the hard work that is evident here today as you receive your well-deserved degrees. I want to thank all of those who have supported you during your studies, your families who are here to celebrate with you today, your friends, your sponsors, and university staff and professors. My mother was a teacher, and she would have been extremely proud to see me receive this honor Bradford has bestowed upon me today. She valued education and believed, as you do, that education is a tool of liberation. As you start your careers or embark on further studies, I wish to share with you the words of Howard Thurman, a Quaker from the United States of America. His words have inspired me, and I quote, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive," unquote. It was a privilege for me to attend Peace Studies and International Development 50th Jubilee Anniversary Conference and to give the 4th Adam Kell Lecture in June this year. I was impressed by the staff and students that I met, and particularly the panel of alumni who shared snippets of their impressive careers since graduating from the University of Bradford. My other advice to you is expect the best and the unexpected. I started my career as a medical laboratory technologist, and some people have asked me, so how come you came into politics? My journey of political awareness began in high school, where my teachers urged us to open our eyes and act against injustices around us. And I'm grateful to those women who brought me up as a 13-year-old at the time. They introduced us to youth leaders like Steve Biko, who taught us to be active agents in our own liberation. At medical school, Steve Biko took me under his wing. I joined the South African Students' Organization, SASO, which he and others had formed and which he was leading. I believe there's a Biko wing here at this university, and I would like to visit it and be inspired. What followed was extra-parliamentary politics as a social justice activist in the African National Congress. I did not expect to be a member of parliament, nor did I even dream of becoming a deputy minister. In fact, when I got a call from the then Secretary General of the ANC asking me to join the executive, I said, "I'm sorry, you've got the wrong number. I'm a Quaker and radical pacifist and had no background in the military." When the cabinet was announced, of course, the media was very interested. And one newspaper said it was like appointing a vegetarian to manage a butcher shop. And another one said the appointment was either a monumental gaffe or a stroke of genius. I believe it was the latter. It was a job I thoroughly enjoyed and has helped me throughout my career as a peacemaker. I realized that soldiers are human too, with the same desires and needs as all of us. I realized that peacemaking is about drawing the courage to enter dialogue with people you may have considered your enemies. Finally, I wish to share a lesson from my life as Deputy Minister of Health, as you've just heard, at a time of the HIV pandemic in South Africa. Drawing on my Quaker roots, I spoke truth to power, and as Professor Anand has told you, I was actually then fired by my president, who differed in his approach. This was a time of fear and frustration in my country when we saw people dying because of bad leadership. As a deputy minister, I realized I had to take a stand on the side of the vulnerable who were being denied access to life-saving ARVs, medicines, by our government. Whilst this resulted in me coming into conflict with the Minister of Health and being fired by the President, I was happy to follow my conscience and truth. The outcome of speaking truth to power was a change in government policy, and I'm proud today that South Africans are no longer dying because of being denied the life-saving treatments. I would like to end with the words of another American, Audre Lorde, which have inspired me and which I hope will inspire you as well. She said, and I quote her, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I'm afraid."